Hey again, class. I'm going to go over here ISA number 4, and it's going to be pretty brief, hopefully. And I actually think this is the easiest ISA assignment, just because it's the most straightforward and simplistic, pretty much. You want to make sure to go. If you didn't, when you did it the first time, you should have, because all these details are part of the assignment, and then the lesson 5 resources is. You want to those audio lecture 10, interpreting Old Testament poetry, is a very helpful script, more or less, and then the poetic forms resource. Those things talk about the different types of dynamics in poetry. Let me see if I can pull it up. I thought I had it all up. So the figurative language, that's going to be a key piece here. They basically give you a lot of the stuff that it's asking for in the assignment. So use those resources, and the ones of you that did amazing on this, and the ones that didn't struggle a little bit. So let me go through this assignment really briefly, and you should be all set. So where do I have this? There we go. So identify the types of parallelism that are used in the odd numbered verses. So I actually want you to go through in verse 1, what kind of parallelism is it? Verse 3, what kind is it? Verse 5, what kind is it? Verse 7 and 9. And some of you only did a couple of the verses. Some of you thought it was the same for all of them, which could be argued, and in that case, argue why, if you're going to say that. Yeah, most of you got that. That's pretty straightforward. Then identify the form of the psalm according to the terminology in the course notes. So again, if you go through the course notes and those resources in the folder for the week, it's pretty easy, and almost all of you got this. But what I want to make sure you do, each section here, we've got 5 questions, so they're each worth 20 points for 100 points is the assignment. So I'd really prefer, if you haven't already done this, if you just wrote the type of psalm, tell me why it's that type of psalm. And also, in case you miss it, I give a lot of points for those of you that got the wrong form of the psalm, but gave an argument of why you thought it was a different type. That way I see you actually processing, and you get a lot of points there, even if you got it wrong. Number 3, identify 3 instances of figurative language in the poem and tell what type of figurative language. So things like anthropomorphism. That I gave you a figurative language in Hebrew poetry sheet there that you can download. So it has things like personification, hyperbole, simile, metaphor, that sort of thing. So you should easily be able to find those in the psalm, and most of you guys, again, did great with that. But if you didn't, be sure to do that. Some of you seem to be, there was another couple, I think, parts in either the reading or something else that had some other types of figurative language. So if I don't know what you're talking about, sometimes people look on the internet. Under the broad scope of figurative language, you can find people that not necessarily make up their own type, but you can find all sorts of different ways of types of terminology and things that people use. So try to use the stuff, please, that we have in the course for you, so I know what you're talking about, and that'd be helpful. Number 4, read Psalms 7 and 9. Note any connections between these Psalms and Psalm 8. Again, just put a little effort in there. Don't just say, oh, they're all happy, or quote some of the things on each of the psalm. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just show that you really read through, internalized all the psalms and saw the connections. And again, that would be probably the one thing here that people tend to not put enough effort into. Then number 5, write a concise statement, no more than a paragraph, detailing the message of the psalm. So again, it tends to go back to the form of the psalm, helps you determine the the message of the psalm. But again, if you need help, try to do it on your own by through the study. But then if you need help, you can use some external resources. But try to also put it in your own words, so that you're not just cutting and pasting some other person's thoughts on the psalm. So that is ISA number 4. Hope that's helpful.